And then the worst part about it is now you have to go, hey guys, we are live. And I hope we're live. So if we are live, please make sure you tell us down there in the bottom, because I don't have it pulled up anywhere else because I'm such a rookie at this. I'm with the two pros. Guys, if you are on here and you see us, you see my two bros, two guys who I really look up to, two guys who have great channels, two guys who have helped me with a lot of things on my YouTube channel and with fishing, and that's Mr. Tackle Junkie 81 and Debo's Fishing. Guys, if you don't already subscribe to their channel, what the hell is wrong with you? But no, get out there. Make sure you go hit that subscription button, and as we go, I'll make sure I put some links in there. Unfortunately, like I said, I'm not like Jim Tackle Junkie here, so I don't. The wife will not help me at all. So she's. I've got to kind of do this. So if you see me looking down and hunting and pecking, I'm trying to get information to you guys. But guys, I'm going to let them introduce themselves. What we're going to talk about tonight. And just know this, I don't have a giveaway for you tonight. I'm sorry. I apologize. Don't click off, please. But, hang in there with us. We're going to do a lot of talking about spring baits, what we're catching them on right now. And we cover a really good portion of the country. And so hopefully we can help you guys out. TJ81. OG of the bunch, the OG YouTuber.
Debo, how long have you been doing this, man? You've been a while, right?
Me, 2017.
Oh, no kidding.
2018, yeah.
Okay, I thought it was longer than that.
I think
I really feel like an old man.
I don't remember. I don't even know when I started. It's been 5 years and change, 6 years.
Really? Yeah, I guess I was back in 2011. I think 2012.
Yeah.
Dang.
Man, I am an old geezer.
Were you filming with one of those sweet VHS camcorders? You had to hold on.
He had the handy cam.
It wasn't that big yet. Yeah. I did have a little handy cam though, yeah. Dude, sometimes I go back and watch my first video just for laughs, dude. It's pretty bad.
So let me ask you a question. Is your first video still actually up so you can watch it?
It is. It is up.
Oh my God. I'm going to get a link for that for you guys.
It's kind of funny. The very first video I showed my face, and then for whatever reason, like the next like 200 videos, I was like the headless, tackle junkie. I don't know why I stopped showing my face, and then I started showing it again,
Oh, that is funny. That is funny. All right. Go ahead. Tackle Junkie, introduce yourself.
I'm Jim, Tackle Junkie 81, here in the Midwest, where the fishing sucks. We buy a lot of tackle. And I got a little bit of everything on my channel from, reviews is kind of what I really like to do the most of. Of course, there's some fishing videos and boat modifications and things like that. A little bit of everything, real cleaning. And like I said, we do a lot of tackle type stuff on here. But that's pretty much it.
All right, Debo, guys. Now, for you guys that fish the bank, now Debo does have the, I think he calls it the 10 kayak, or
my aluminum
kayak. Yeah, that's it. And so he does a lot of bank fishing and a lot of reviews, the same sort of stuff, guys. We all sort of do. But Debo, man, introduce yourself.
What's up, guys? My name's Devin, or Debo's Fishing. Everybody calls me Debo. So, pretty much the same as you guys. I fish as much as I can. We all three have full-time jobs still, kids. So trying to do this, nights, weekends, sleep is optional type thing, but sleep as much as I can. And Jim, like you, and obviously like you, Hank, can't see it. It's over to the side of you, but, kind of collecting tackle and buying tackle and doing reviews is kind of its own whole hobby next to fishing. Like when you can't fish, it's fun, like to look at stuff, kind of collect stuff. I'm not like a crazy collector of, having one of everything, but, trying out different stuff, finding different things, trying to see what you like and reviewing gear. I'm a gear nerd. So everything from taking reels apart to, comparing them to see what they look like inside, all that kind of stuff. So.
And for the most part, guys, you're here, so I think you probably already know me. But just in case, I'm, I love bass fishing. I'm BassGeek. My name's Hank, and I enjoy basically the same things these two guys do. I enjoy collecting tackle, as you can tell by my little wall in the background. But just love the love of fishing, love of bass fishing all the way around. I think all three of us have that. Now, Debo, he's been getting really fancy and doing some tackle, painting baits. Mm-hmm. I think didn't you say you're pouring your own baits, some of your own baits now?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So like that was the reason I picked up airbrushing, over a year ago. Was just kind of out of necessity. We can do tackle reviews and buy gear and stuff, but I wanted something else fishing related. So started painting my own crankbaits and now pouring my own jigs, tying my own jigs. I took all of them outside. I don't know that I have any in here, but yeah, that's a lot of fun too. Finesse jigs really now. Randizzle got me into that. So I took him a bunch of jigs today. We got to meet up and stuff, but he's pretty tickled.
Speaking of Randizzle, has he ever decided to put a YouTube channel out?
He's working on it. I don't know. If y'all want to see it, let him know. Go pester him on Instagram. Tell him to get a video out.
Do it.
Exactly. He needs one. See, then we can have all four of us on here talking about our channels.
Right.
But shout out his Instagram, by the way.
Just Randizzles. I don't know what the exact spelling is. You'll find it on mine. I'll put it up there.
Okay.
And let him know that we already talked about a tournament, that he's into it.
Yeah. Hopefully we can make a 2v2 tournament happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I hope so this summer. The good news is my last tournament, which have just been consuming me, and some of you guys will know why, especially after the tournament video that dropped today. It just kind of motivated me to be on the water even more. But the last one is May the 15th, so it should work out pretty good. Hopefully I can get up there and, hopefully my new trailer is in by then and I can get up there and go fishing with you guys.
Very cool.
So,
look forward to it, man.
I'll drag the boat along and the whole 9 yards. We'll find something to throw it in. If it's a pond, I ain't afraid. It's old. It's 98. Mm-hmm. We'll put a 200 Johnson on a pond, just do donuts.
So I want you to set up my graphs too, man. You're good at that.
Yeah, I'll do it. I love doing that stuff.
Yeah, I'll bring my lunar kayak. I got a graph this year too. So you have to show me what the hell I'm doing. I can run a Vexilr and that's about it.
That's fine. So, guys, we'll start taking questions as we go, but we're going to get into talking about what we're catching them on, what we like, kind of like what our favorite bites that are coming up. We're going to talk about that sort of stuff. And so lay into it, TJ. What do you got? What have you been catching them on?
Well, I've only been out twice so far this year. I think we thawed maybe a little over 2 weeks ago. I've only been out twice so far, caught 5 fish. They've all been on the underspin right there. That's just a Picasso underspin. Well, actually, it's just a Picasso head, and I buy the little blade attachments there, add them on there. So if I want some flash, I add it. If not, I keep it off there. And just a little swim bait on the back there. But that has caught all 5 fish for me so far. And I've just been pond fishing as of right now. I'll probably start taking the boat out next week. But as far as the ponds go, man, I love starting with an underspin. Spitter bait if the water's warm enough, or a chatterbait. But when I get to the bigger lakes, when there's a lot of rock, man, it's hard to put the crankbaits down. I'll start with a flat side and then go from a square bill spinner bait, like I said, if the water's warm enough and all that. But as of right now, that's what's catching them for me, the underspin.
What about you, Debo?
I've only caught a couple. Ice just came off. I went out last weekend and half the pond was still froze. But I caught one on a gold lipless, the old Cotton Cordell spot. And today I got out. It was rough. We got our butts kicked. I actually had a couple bites on the 6-inch Huddleston, the big thumping tail. So I had 2 bites, missed both of them. And then I threw actually an underspin, the owner flashy swimmer, weedless, because we were fishing like old pad grass line. So there was still gunk down there, but an owner flashy swimmer with a reaction innovation skinny dipper on there. Caught one. That was it. But still awesome. Still got a fish out in open water, so I'll take it.
Yeah, me, it's been a lot of the stuff that you guys seen, and believe it or not, it's not swim baits. Holy cow! I've not caught a fish on a swim bait.
Both of us have caught them on swim baits, and you haven't. That's funny.
Yeah, I haven't caught them on a swim bait yet. For me, it's just been, really power fishing. It's been jerk baits, rattle traps. Caught one on an old white diamond shad from Strike King that, by the way, is discontinued.
Yeah.
Which is why I kept them for so long, because I knew sooner or later that rattle would. All the hooks have pretty much rusted off, so I've had to replace those. But let's see, white spinner baits, a couple on some A rigs. So kind of just like I said, that power fishing. Haven't really caught anything on a jig. Most of it's been moving baits, dirty water, warmer pockets, that sort of stuff. So,
what's your water temps?
It just depends on what lake you go to. The lake that I'm fishing right now, which is the next lake in the tournament series, which is Norris. Down the lake, 51 to 52 when I first got on it the past 2 days. Up the lake, it's in a little dirtier water, 56. So quite a bit of difference.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're right in that prime time where they're feeding, and you can tell because some of the fish that I caught in kind of my first pre-practice on Norris, and I don't know how true this is. I don't know that it really means that they've been feeding on crawdads, because these fish were obviously chasing shad.
Red
lip. They had red lips. I think it's just got more to do with them being cold and being out deeper, and something with maybe oxygen throughout their body. But
I thought they were putting on lipstick. To be honest with
you. Well,
they're ready for spring. They want a big old kiss. You just never know.
Well, these had it. All right, guys, I've got a question real quick, and he's talking about evening bass. What's better for a late evening bass, big bass fishing, Carolina rig with a black worm or big black jig? What do you guys think?
Late
you guys
night, evening. What time of year are we talking?
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, right now, if I'm going to fish right now, I'm definitely not going to night fish, even in my area.
Right.
Evening for me, I'm probably going to throw a jig. And, a Carolina rig, if you're out on a boat, now if you're fishing from the bank, a Carolina rig will come into play just in different sorts of areas, different sorts of cover, long points, that sort of stuff, to kind of help find any sort of piece of structure out there for me. So
I would say for me, time of year, summertime for me, I'm going with the 10-inch worm most likely.
Yeah.
And then fall time, I'd probably go with, be honest, with a buzzbait. It's hard to put that buzzbait down in the fall time for me if I'm looking for a big bite, evening time, some top water.
Yeah, I agree. Evening, night, like back in the day, we used to throw black jitterbugs on the ponds and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And like a jitterbug in the evening is so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, yeah, like a buzzbait or like a big, like purple or black and red spinnerbait, something like with a Colorado blade or something that's going to make a bunch of thump, once that light gets real low, dirty water. I guess it kind of depends though. Otherwise, yeah, huge worm in summer's hard to beat.
Yes, sir.
So what bites are you guys looking forward to? Like what's coming up soon, within the next, say, month or so as we begin to progress in the spring that you're really looking forward to?
Spinnerbaits and crankbaits, man. Hard to beat that bite. I love it.
Yeah. So I must be a little bit ahead of you guys because we're already into that sort of bite.
Oh, yeah.
So what's the water temps up
when I checked it? Oh, sorry. When I checked it, last time I fished, it was 44, and that was from a pond, which was, I'd say, pretty stained up. And as of right now, obviously, we're everywhere. Everything's going to be pretty muddy with all the rain that we've been getting. But like I said, pond was 44. But a buddy of mine, his dad went to a pretty big lake, Kincaid, yesterday, and I thought he said it was 46 there.
Yeah, that's still pretty cold. What about you, Debo?
Same. Yeah, I'd guess mid-40s. We were out on the ice. The last day I was out on the ice, it was 41, frozen, so it really depends on what it's going to be, 39. So I would say, we just had ice off, mid-40s, I'd say. Low to mid-40s.
Yeah, usually mid-50s. I pick up that square bill, and I never put it down.
That's the way I could be with the spinnerbait.
Yep. I'd say if I have rock, square bill. If I don't have rock, definitely spinnerbait.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
I hear you. I like a spinnerbait. Right now that we're targeting laydowns with that spinnerbait. Of course, the water, do they fluctuate any of your all's lakes up there for winter?
No,
spring rains.
Mm-mm.
Like, do they drop the levels and stuff? You mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if they do in the reservoir. A lot of ours are man-made, so not as much. I know some of them they've just did renovations and stuff, so they dropped it a bunch. But yeah, not normally like that.
Have any of you guys ever tried venom baits?
Venom baits.
They got some venom tubes, maybe.
I want to say I've got some. I don't know that
I've seen them on Instagram, I think. Oh, sorry.
No, I'm sorry. It seems like I might have got those before in MTB box.
Yeah.
But I just can't put a finger on it, like which one it was. But I do remember that name.
Yeah. I know that name. I can't.
I think they're the guy with the white. He has like the white mullet hairdo looking thing, like when he does the Instagram videos. I'm pretty sure that's Venom, isn't it?
I thought it was green. Is it a green package?
I think it is.
Yeah, green and red.
Yeah. I don't have anything hanging up here, but
here you go, Debo. I know that one's for you.
I do. If I could, yeah. Well, we're not talking about that bite yet, but yeah, if there's only one lure I could fish forever, it'd be the frog, hands down.
Oh yeah.
Spinnerbait is really close second, but
what's your favorite frog?
I don't know. Like, just out of sheer volume, it would be either like that old Spro, whatever that old normal one is, or
Bronze-eye, yeah.
Yep, Bronze-eye, or the Pad Crasher. Like, just because they've caught so many. But man, last year I tried a few different ones, and there were some that I didn't want to like, and I did because of the price. But I don't know. I mean, really, as long as it's a frog, I'm happy.
Gotcha.
I'm pretty much stuck with like popping frogs and skipping it under overhangs. There's no grass here, anything like that for me. So
that's from skipping a frog under overhangs. I've got a lake here where I destroyed them on that.
Yeah, but that's about it. And every once in a while, you can kind of work them in a trash pile, in the back of the, logs and stuff like that. But that's really about it. Do you guys like a softer rod for skipping jigs or a stiffer rod?
I prefer a softer rod. I just feel it helps, slingshot the bait under there a little bit better. I know a lot of guys do like a faster action. I'd imagine with that, you'd have to cast a little bit harder to get that slingshot out of it, where I just feel a softer rod does that a bit better for me.
I agree. Debo?
I think, length is the biggest thing for me. Like 7 foot or maybe just a little shorter to me is more important. Like just a regular medium heavy fast I'll use, but like 6'10" or 7 foot. And for me, it's different because I'm fishing from an aluminum kayak where I'm like, and when I say that, I actually mean a john boat, just a little 11-foot flat bottom john boat. But I'm sitting down in the water. My feet are down. The way you sit in a john boat, it's not built up. Whereas if you're fishing on a boat and you're up above it, you can get away with something a little bit longer. Or if you're fishing from the bank, that's something to kind of consider is the length of your rod.
Yeah. For me, it's which 90%, 90% of what I fish from is the boat. So, it's a 7.3. I like a heavy because I'm gonna fish around a lot of docks and ropes and that sort of stuff. And so I like a heavy, but I like one just like you said. I mean, moderate fast tip. Yep. I like a little bit of tip to it to help get that in there. But a 7.3 to me, standing on the boat, you can get a nice little whip action in there. Whip it good. I just got demonetized.
That was some Devo. That was some Devo right there. Almost Devo. I like it.
You're gonna
funny story. The people that don't really know me think my nickname is Devo. So people will be like, "Oh yeah, everybody calls you Devo, right?" And I'm like, "Well, kind of. I'll go with it." Yeah.
Dang it! I'm going to be like, from now on, it's going to be like, guys, by the way, go watch my buddy Devo's fishing, man. He's awesome. I love those Devo's dinks.
I was going to ask you, Hank, since you said, you fish from your boat 90% of the time, do you have plans to fish in your littler boat more often?
Yeah. Actually, I do a lot this year, especially during the summer on some of these smaller lakes. It's just been the biggest part of the reason why I haven't the past 2 years is because I've just been so limited on time. The past 2 summers at work, we've had some sort of turnover, some sort of guy coming in and going out. So we've ended up working like 80-hour shifts for like 2 and 3 months at a time or more. So when I do get to go, I generally taking that big boat to the lakes that I already know, where I know I can go catch fish, is kind of what I've been doing. So so yeah, hopefully. What about you? You don't have a kayak, or do you have any sort of smaller boat?
I believe I have one coming, but it's not a kayak. It'd be a smaller John boat.
Okay. I don't blame you. I like a John boat. Biggest mistake I ever made was selling. I had a little 14-foot John boat, had it for years. And biggest mistake I ever had was selling that. Look, I like my little boat, but we was, off air, we were talking about the bigs versus the skinnies, and in that the tournament we hopefully are going to work up. But being in that little boat weighing about 350 right now, it gets a little spooky, once in a while. So how do you set your drag for your setup? A retrieve novice, I feel like I have it cranked down too tight. Well, it just depends on, I guess, what type of setup you're going to be using. If we're talking about skipping, yeah, I've got it cranked down tight. My drag is cranked because once I skip it under a dock and I set the hook, there's no fighting that fish. He's coming in the boat. We're cranking and boat hopping. So, sorry guys, I'm scanning for questions.
I was trying to look through here too. Sorry, I'm not being a jerk looking at my phone all the time. I don't know if anybody can tell, but I'm trying to roll through. I brought it up on my phone so I can see comments too. I'm not used to not being able to see the comments on the side up here. So
you can't see
you
him?
Guys, you can't.
I can see him. I can see him.
You can see him?
Yeah.
Oh man, see y'all got that fancy. Y'all got that fancy paid for StreamYard. I'm on the generic bootleg version.
Well, I mean, does that actually matter? We're going to get into talking about stuff, guys.
Well, I mean, it matters to me because I can't see any comments. So
you can't click on comments over there.
Nope.
On the
I can see them all here on the right side.
I thought anybody that I invite should be able to see them. It shouldn't matter if you have it or not.
No, bootleg version, you can't do that.
Well, Fat Boy's in the house. What up, buddy?
Hey, Fat Boy.
Oh yeah! Shout out to anybody you see, anybody you've that always watches.
How about what? Go ahead.
Sorry, this one's for you. Have you fished Bobby's Perfect Frogs?
Bobby's Perfect Frogs.
Do you have them in stock? I'm guessing.
Do I have them in stock? Is that what he says? I don't believe so. I don't think I may have fished that one years ago, but I don't think so, man. The Spro, like we were talking actually earlier, the bronze eye is one of my go-tos. I mean, as many frogs as I have, I probably should have that one, but it doesn't come to.
Who makes that? Is Snag Proof?
Snag Proof, yeah. Yeah.
Bobby's. I've got a couple of what were they? Issues.
I got some of the launch ones that just came out, launch frogs, or I guess it came out last year.
I haven't tried any of those. So, what baits this spring are you guys excited about trying?
That's what I was just gonna ask.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And then Jim cut me off, and jeez.
And then I'm
sorry, dude. I'll raise my hand next time. I promise.
I'm giving you crap. Hey, I got bootleg StreamYard. Y'all talk over me.
Can I talk, or who's talking? Who's doing it?
Either one of you. Go ahead.
One that I'm really excited about, I just ordered here this last week, is stuff from G-Crack. The Bellows Gill. That's one I'm really pumped to play around with. The
Bellows Gill. I don't know that I've seen that. I know that name sounds familiar, but
it just I don't know how you even describe it. It's got a bunch of ribs in it. It almost looks like a big, I don't know. Help me out here, Debo. I know you know what they look like.
Yeah, it's like an oval shaped, and kind of. I think the gill comes to like a teardrop. Tail. So it looks almost like a big teardrop with ribs all over, not like the Hagg's Tornado or the Grande Bass.
Hold on a second here.
Whatever.
How have I missed that?
Hold on, I'll get it. But those I'm really excited about, though.
I just actually have one sitting here. I finally got my hands on some of the Ott's Garage.
Oh, you dog!
The Slim Sixes. I finally found a few of the reds. So
now see See, down here, like
I mean, if I were to tell you, I'd have to take that stuff off your wall.
See,
I'll trade you a few things for them.
Bass Pro has them, and if they're sold out, and if they're sold out by the time you get them, I got like I think 3, so I'll send you one.
See, down here, like those little flat side balsa wood, baits. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I have seen those
right there. Yep.
Yeah. All right, Devo. What about you, Devo?
Devo. There it is.
Hey, change his name on here. I'll give you to change his name.
Now you got me calling you that.
I'm excited to whip it. Whip it.
So Devo.
Yeah, those. I don't know if I have anything else here. Those flat sides. Like as far as balsas, I know it seems like it's blown up this year more. And really, like the DTs are the only balsas I've really ever thrown. The BX Brats, I guess, too. I got some of those. I don't know if I have. Oh, I do. I grabbed a couple of these, and I'll just show all 3. So the balsa and the flat side type thing. So those BX Brats.
Yes.
I fished those before. My guy, Matt, did really well on those. I was out on his boat. He smoked them in his local lake. Then I got some of those Fritz sides. Yeah, there you go, TJ.
Yeah.
Some of those Fritz
Man,
sides.
those right there are hard to find right now, too. The 7s. They're hard to find. I on the way to a tournament, I literally walked into a gas station that had a tackle shop in it, and they had a ton of Fritz size. I spent like $160.
Oh, really?
Dang, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I grabbed at least 1 or 2 of every single one they had. I was like, okay, I got to get these. Those Brats, I got lucky enough to be able to jump on Jim's live stream the other night, and I was talking to him about the Brats and how they're kind of a big deal. A lot of people are using them on the pro circuit right now, but not really talking about them as much as they probably should.
Yep. Yeah, that Delta color is pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's a killer color.
Yeah.
All right, I'm entering my 2nd year bass fishing, so I don't have a preferred style, but wondering what style rod should I save up for? I have a 7-foot medium fast spinning and a 7.3 medium heavy fast bait caster. That right there covers a ton of stuff. I mean, that's a great start. Probably the second one, you know what? Get a 7-foot to, in my opinion, a 7-foot to a 7.3 medium fast action. That way you can throw some even lighter stuff with it. And man, you can cover a gamut of stuff with that. What do you guys think?
For me, and actually, I kind of went over this in one of my previous videos, but it would really determine where I'm fishing at. If I'm pond fishing, I'd probably go more for maybe a heavy power, fast rod for, jigs and things like that. But if I'm on my boat where I got a lot of rock, I'm going to go towards a cranking rod versus a heavy. I would get more use out of a cranking rod. So it just really depends where I'm at.
Yeah, and I usually ask people like, what type of fishing do you like most, and what type of fishing do you do most? And if they're like, yeah, most of the time I'm finesse fishing, then I wouldn't, because like my option right there would be, I'm like, well, how do you not have a frog stick with 65-pound braid?
Right.
You are insane, But I consider what they're doing, So if you like finesse stuff, yeah, get another spinning rod or a medium power. Like TJ said, if you love to crank and you feel like you miss a bunch of bites, get a dedicated crank stick.
How you can't go wrong with a few medium heavy fasts. I mean, those rods.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Get
like a 7-foot medium heavy fast or something. Like a little bit softer medium heavy fast. That way you can throw bigger square bills. Some of your lighter top waters and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with that. Daggone it, work. There it goes. I wasn't holding my mouth right there. What water temp do you switch from red to more the orange or chartreuse in the spring? For me, that's kind of the same colors. I switch that in more. To me, it's more about watercolor than it is because me, the orange and chartreuse is a spring crawl. The red is for dirty water because it's a darker color generally. So, when I get into maybe a little more, less dirty water, more stain from that foot to say 2 to 3 foot, I'm going to start throwing that. And then if they're chasing shad, I'm going with white. That's the last last time I was out, it was really dirty water, 6 inches of viz, and they were chasing shad and just wouldn't touch anything that was crawl.
Yeah, there's a lot of dirty water around here. I mean, I run that red crawl all year long.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it's more about just the how well it shows up in dark water. Let's see. What?
Yeah, and for me, like, I guess just to add on, so for me, time of year, and I think you guys kind of already touched on that, but like red, it seems like there will be a certain point here where the red kind of dies off. Like, for example, right after bass spawn and those bluegill are up on beds, like bluegill colors are awesome around here. Because I fish, most of my spots are like stained water, not muddy, but not super clear. So I'm the most comfortable in stains. So like as soon as bass are getting off beds and you see bluegill, up and around, bluegill color spinners, even going into your chartreuse, whatever it may be, a square bill or whatever, seems to do well.
All right. So at Debo, it seems like none of you are talking about the Rattlebots. Wait a minute, that's the wrong one. Sorry, I clicked on the wrong one. But anyway, the Rattlebot. So I haven't tried it. Jim, have you tried it, Debo? Have y'all tried it?
I've only fished with it one time. I haven't caught any fish on it yet.
Nope, I want to get some. I was going to put in what is it? What do they call that? Carl's? Yep. I was going to put in another Carl's order, but I didn't. They had a few things.
Yeah, I've got to pick up
one. I forget. I had like 3 or 4 things on my cart, and I just never did it. Jeez, look at that. Jim's got all of them. Okay. Yeah, those things are sweet.
Yeah, they're killer looking. And they got like this one here is the crawfish pattern. And then they got the shad pattern.
I love how they did the eye on the back on the craw because it's funny because people like rag on that. Right. Like if I paint a bait, they're like, that doesn't make any sense. Crawfish don't have eyes in eyes in the front. It's like, well, they don't make blanks with crawfish eyes in the butt. And then Jim, isn't that right? The crawfish Rattlebots have like almost a one knocker, whereas the shad have more of the BB in them.
I believe you're right here. Let's see here. Here's the craw. And then here is the shad.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was cool that they did that.
Yep. It'd be nice if this was more of a. There's more than one in there. I think I would have preferred just a solid one knocker. Yeah. But like I said, I think the shad is a bit higher pitched compared to the craw. But it is different though.
Yeah, you can tell a difference.
Yep.
Yeah, just the design. Like you don't see a bunch of different stuff. So I like that they came out with that. I don't know a bunch of what they make, but there you go.
I do that all the time.
I like that.
Yeah, I like the design. That's just something completely different, and it is a different sound too. Even though they put maybe 2, maybe 3, it doesn't sound like they put many in there. But I was shaking one around the other day. Funny story. It sold out
super fast.
Yeah, funny story about this this month's mystery tackle box. Just for everybody that's out there. That normally sees me do a mystery tackle box giveaway. There's not going to be one this month because it blew out of my boat yesterday.
Oh, no.
So I was going to film it. Yeah. So thought I had it all locked down, but I did not.
Bummer. So, I think there was a Rattlebot in that box too, wasn't there?
Yes, there was.
Oh, man.
I don't have one yet. Well, we have one.
Yeah. I did have one, but it's gone. So, Oh man. So anybody ever fish that? Anybody ever fish the cycle bait, spinner bait?
Cycle bait is pretty sweet.
I watched Jim's video on it.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Well, I'm gonna have to go back. Somehow I missed that. So
let's see where it's at. Hold on.
Look at it. By the way, for all of you all that don't know, Jim owns every bait known to mankind.
Yeah, Jim, you guys think Tackle Warehouse is where you buy your stuff off of? They actually just ship out to Jim's house.
What I missed?
Right, Jim?
What's that?
Just say yeah.
No. Why are you coming over here and robbing me?
No, I said you guys think when you buy from Tackle Warehouse they actually have their own like warehouse and stuff. I said they're actually just getting stuff from Jim's house.
Yeah.
There's that cycle bait there.
Oh yeah.
It's fresh. Like it's got a nice roll to it. You see it's got the head there.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, I bet that does.
Yeah.
Free swinging head like that. Yeah.
Because like when you showed it, it's more of a roll almost.
Yeah, it does. It rolls really good. I think the one with the Colorado blade, I do believe it's fixed to the head, and the one with the willow, it does pivot. So yeah, it's pretty slick though. Yep.
That's
pretty
cool.
slick. Yeah, I like it. You definitely feel that thump as it kicks back and forth.
So anybody have a
I was just gonna pick that one too. That's funny. I was just gonna ask it. Oh my god!
Anybody have a favorite company?
Favorite company.
I was gonna say that's like asking to fix your favorite potato chip flavor.
I've got a lot of favorite lures from a lot of companies. That's about all. Really.
That's a tough one. Yeah, it'd be a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to beat. Your some of your bigger companies like Strike King Zoom. Well, you can name 100 of them. Then your mom and pop companies that like Bass Munitions, Ledge Head, companies like that every day that make a lot of good custom tackle too. So, I mean, it's best. I think we'd all agree not to limit yourself to a single company because there's so many good baits out there. Really.
I agree.
Yeah, and I think a lot of what fishing is, and I know we've all talked about it sometimes, is so much of fishing is being like brand loyal once you get on something that works. So it's like for me back in the day, I had a bunch of man spinnerbaits. So I loved everything man's. Like, you'd see Hank Parker throwing it, and I caught a bunch of fish on a man spinnerbait. So I'm like, dude, Man's makes great stuff. So I had Man's worms, Man's spinnerbaits, Man's, whatever. And a lot of fishing is, even if like there's 3 companies that make the same thing, you're going to be more brand loyal to like that one where you've had past success, That's so much of like fishing. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. It's just, it's funny how you like will gravitate,
Will, I think Will lost the bet.
Oh, Will, I do love Reaction Innovations. If I can get them to sponsor me and bring a whole truckload of Reaction Innovation stuff over, I would not be upset. They have a ton of stuff.
What's your favorite jig? My new favorite jig will be the one that Debo makes for me and sends my way.
Yeah, you guys send me your orders. Whatever you guys want, I got you both covered.
Cool, man. That's awesome.
Jim, I'll throw you in a hot Slim 6.
Awesome, dude. Are you making swim jigs yet?
No swim jigs. No, just finesse jigs.
Gotcha. Yeah, so you were tying them and everything, dude. That was awesome.
Everything, yeah. Starting with the hook, pouring the lead, tying the skirts on. It's so much fun. I spent way more than I should have on skirts. By the time I got done in my cart, I'm like, I shouldn't do it, but I'm like, I live once, I could be dead tomorrow. I want to tie fun skirts. So yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
So other than the ones you make yourself, which I'm too lazy to do. So what is your favorite jig right now and your favorite way to fish it? So your favorite technique and your favorite way to fish it.
Go ahead, Jim. Yeah.
I don't fish a lot of like football jigs or even pitching jigs. I think fishing such muddy water, I don't like to drag a lot and disturb the bottom. So I more fish a swim jig versus, I guess, a bottom bouncing type jig. Favorite jig, probably, I'm going to say a Picasso swim jig is probably what I toss the most. And as far as fishing, I fish a swim jig pretty much the same places I'll fish a spinnerbait, along laydowns, grass lines, anything like that. I mean, even around rock, wood, really doesn't matter. I fish them just like I would. Heck, I fish them just like I would really a square bill too. It's just a different presentation, looks different than, cranking or whatever, just something different, but a good way to cover water.
I'm grabbing visual aids here. I thought I had a bunch of stuff here. Yeah. So I've got Randizzle got me turned on, obviously, the War Eagles. I thought I had one up here, but like a ball head finesse jig for bank fishing is awesome. And obviously we do a bunch of that. Prior to that, I was the same as you, Jim. Swim jig for sure was my biggest, or like just a flipping jig around wood. And that's really the only time I threw jigs. And he got me turned on to like ball head jigs. So like one of my favorites was this little Luke Clausen, which is like a ball head with like a recessed deal. And then there's these, I think are, I can't even remember what the name is, but very similar to a War Eagle. It's just a round ball head, kind of a regular wire hook, not super heavy or anything. And throwing those on the bank around riprap is great. And then actually Cumberland has a Bitsy finesse jig. I see you have their shirt on there, Hank. They have a Bitsy.
That's exactly where I was going.
Yep, that thing is awesome. Beast Coast, I've used their hybrid hustler jig, which is cool because they wrap like the marabou. They've got, the finesse cut skirt. And somebody asked me on a video, I just saw that pop up a little bit ago. I haven't answered yet, but they asked me what the trailer was. That's a Z-Man TRD Bugs. It's a little bent because I had it in the package, but they make a red, like the red and brown. But yeah, there's a ton of options out there. Find what you like. But that's my deal. I mean, around here, fishing from the bank, finesse jigs, you can catch so much on them. So,
and for me, I think right now it's the Bitsy Bug from Cumberland, because I've been fishing around areas that's got a lot of smallmouth and largemouth, and so I'm fishing shallow too. So that really fits well. I want something. I put a trailer on a lot of times that I want to float up. So, I like to use Bass Munitions, the Grunt, something like that. Some with not a lot of action too, because it's still, even though we're seeing surface temps at, 56 degrees, the water, it isn't that warm as you drop down even a foot to 2 foot, under. So anybody got from Gene? Anybody got a bait modification you want to talk about? Something you like to
that
do?
Was mean. Woo! Old school wrestling. Sorry, dating myself.
This time of year, you got a good bait modification? I'm writing these down.
I don't do anything real fancy, to be honest with you.
I don't really either, for the most part.
If I am tossing a jig or swim jig, whatever, I always like rattles, scent. I like to dye the tails and all that, but I don't really do anything like crazy,
Yeah, frogs. I mess with my frogs a lot. Anything from adding like BBs inside of it to give it a rattle, bending my hooks up. I know some people say they miss a lot of frog bites. If you can get away with it, taking those hooks instead of being flat on the body, wrong finger, and bending it up, so they stick up a little bit. Cutting the tails. I always cut tails to be like maybe 2 inches long. There's no reason to have like 5-inch legs. And actually, Chad Hoover just put out a cool thing I wanted to try. He took, and after I talked to you, Jim, about those stupid Picasso underspins, I had like 4 packs on my cart, gone.
What happened?
Everybody beat me to them, all sold out on
top of the
house. Yeah, I was so pissed. But Chad Hoover put a spinning blade on the back of his spinner bait. So instead of having like a trailer hook, I didn't see what blade it was, but it was like a trailer spinny blade, like an underspin almost from the back. I thought that was kind of neat.
On a frog?
That is
on a spinner bait.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was kind of neat. So you've got like the spinner bait blade. So, one more, almost giving it that A-rig look of, giving it a little bit more flash. And I don't know. I thought it'd be cool to try, but.
I wonder if you could do something like that with these. Couldn't you just do that? Put one of those on the
I'm
the
sure
hook?
You could if you could get them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a wall right here, just full of them. I ordered them.
Let's play something Monopoly. I'll trade you.
That's what we need to do. Oh no, we've got to talk after the show. We've just created a whole new company, Tackle Trade.
Yeah.
We'll get people to pay just a small subscription. Guys, anybody that steals this, it's copyright right now.
I'm looking right now on Bass Pro to see if those are available.
Dude, get them. I got that.
Oh, they're on sale too, dude.
Yeah, the other color I couldn't get was this one. I forget what it is. I got a bunch of them like a long time ago. The green gizzard shad. The green gizzard shad and were all sold out. And you couldn't find them forever anywhere. So they must have just got restocked. But
I think they got them all, and they're on sale.
Well, you better act quick, because if they're like the stupid Picasso underspins, those damn things were gone.
Dude, I'm going to order all these as soon as we get off here.
You better order them right now.
Yeah, no, they got all the colors in too.
So Stanley Fox, anybody have any luck on tubes? You guys fish tubes? That's something I don't fish as much anymore, and I really need to because I'm around smallmouth a lot.
Yeah,
I used to be a huge tube fisherman. Years ago, believe it or not, I never even touched a crankbait. All I fished was tubes, and I would just pitch them around grass and just run the grass lines all down the lake. Just a 1/4 ounce weight Texas rig, like a black and blue tube, and I would run that the whole lake, man. and just hop it back to the boat. It's funny. One day, I told the story before. One day I was bass fishing, of course, with 4-inch tubes, and caught 3 catfish that day. No bass. All on tubes.
Man.
Yeah.
The biggest catfish I ever caught, it was like some sort of albino cat, and it was on a DT-16. It was literally painted up like a koi. It had like this gold and white. I bet it weighed like 13 pounds, man. It was huge.
I want to go to one of those places. I don't know where the hell these guys are at, but you'll see them like with whopper ploppers on Instagram where they like throw this whopper plopper under the trees and then they're like plop, 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 plop. And you're thinking, oh, there's going to be like a 5-pound bass. And it's less like 800,000-pound catfish that comes up and is like, boom. And then their drag's ripping. They're looking around like it's something normal. Like, oh, hey, I got one. I'm like, or they're like taking the whopper plopper and going back and forth real quick.
Yes.
My gosh, why don't I have any ponds I can fish like that?
Anybody tried the newly released St. Croix Victory rods? I've not.
Sir.
I've got some St. Croix. I've got some spinning rods that I have literally had for years, and still love them, man. They're great, but not tried those. Have not tried those. I want to give a shout out. Thanks for the $3. I am not even going to attempt to pronounce that first name, but Kim, thank you. I'm a redneck. I can barely read, guys. You know, I'm a hillbilly. So,
come on, Hank.
I try not to tell people the truth because then they expect more of me.
William Sully asks, "So, whoa, it's disappearing. Suggestions for a top water combo, specifically poppers and walk the dog baits, rod action / power, and reel and speed." What do you got, Hank?
I'll tell you what, especially for a popper, I picked up the SLX DC, which is I'm impressed with. I mean, I think you can do about anything with it. And then the sticks by oh my God, Travis Moran. And
fisherman.
Yeah, the Informative Fisherman. They've got a line of rods out, and I think it's the number 3, and that rod and that reel combo are incredible. They're incredible. That's the one in your live stream I was telling you. It was like 2 days after Christmas, to beat all. 2 days after Christmas, I was on the water catching smallmouth over 90 foot on a popper.
That is crazy, man.
So, yeah, you know, and the sad part is, you know, that video you think would have got great views.
Should have just called the cops randomly so it would have fit in there. And
90-foot top water. I almost drowned in the cops called.
What about you, Jim?
I fish, let's see here, 6'8", 6'10", usually medium heavy. I like a moderate fast action. Anything with treble hooks, I like that slower tip, mod fast action. Reel, usually a 7-speed, just because I'm using the rod to work the bait. I like a bit faster reel. Normally, I like a 6-speed for most things, but 7 when I'm using the rod to work the bait. Like I said, like a top water. Yeah, 7-speed reel. I really don't care which one. I mean, DC is fantastic, but yeah, any reel will work as long as it's a bit faster. And like I said, a 6'8", 6'10".
Yep. Yeah, I'm pretty close. It depends on the bait. Obviously, you know, with a smaller top water popper, I'm going to go with a different combo. Like, for example, a lot of people ask me about that Shimano Celis. I got the 7-foot medium heavy, I believe it is, but it's a softer medium heavy, so it's more like a mod fast, like you were saying, Jim. I agree. And I was using that for like the Strike King Sexy Dog is one of my favorite like top water walking baits. But I'm not going to throw that as the same combo that I'd throw like a little Rebel Pop R or like a little Zara Spook Puppy on. You know, you're going to throw a different combo for that. So I think we kind of all covered the different stages pretty similar that we'd fish.
All right, here's a question I want to know from you two. Because for me, it's either, I can't remember the song by Cinderella, which dates me. But more than likely, it's going to be Who Made Who by AC/DC.
I don't know.
What you got? Oh, you don't know what you'd walk out to? Huh? Deep in the psyche.
I don't know. That's a good one. I don't know.
I say Korn, Freak on a Leash. Korn's my
Oh.
all-time favorite band ever. So, Freak on a Leash.
I like that. I like Korn.
I don't know.
Or the Ozzy. Korn or Ozzy. One of those two.
I swear to you, in the new house, the primary crapper is sealed off. My wife has permitted me to decorate it. And I'm going to put a poster right across from where you see it of Ozzy sitting on the toilet reading a newspaper. Too good, I know. Too good.
What's a good one here? What's your guys' like go-to knot? Here's one from Kenny. I don't understand the hype around the Palomar knot. He uses the trilene knot for nylon and fish and full knot for braid. But I only hear about the Palomar. What you guys use?
For me, I don't even know the name of it. It's kind of, I call it like a simple San Diego knot. Basically, you do the same thing, but instead of coming through the bottom and back up through the top, I think let's see. Yeah, you just go through the top. And I use that for everything. So. Yeah,
mine's I first saw it, I don't know, probably 5 years ago. G-Man showed it. He calls it the double shindo, but it's essentially a doubled over clinch knot. And most recently, people saw it and were sharing it with me. Mark Zona did a video on it called the shark knot. But it's all the same thing, different names. That's by far my go-to.
I use the Palomar pretty much 95% of the time. Never had any issues with it. I think when guys break off a lot with it, it's from the jump. If you have those lines twisted from the beginning, most likely you're going to break off with it. As long as you're not crossed, you wet it down, should be good to go.
And like light line, as far as ice fishing, Palomar for sure. Like tying real light line, Palomar is awesome for that.
So what's your guys' favorite underspin setup, since you've all both beat me to swim bait catches this year?
I run it's a 6.9 medium heavy with a moderate fast action. I run 6-speed reel on there. Like I said, I got a bunch of different reels, so it's whatever one's on the rod, but usually a 6-speed and normally 10 to 12 pound test. If I'm throwing a light or underspin, I will bump it up to 15 if I'm throwing something a bit heavier. Usually fluorocarbon.
Yeah, I'm pretty close to Jim's, like a 7-foot medium heavy fast, like the owner, flashy swimmer, or like an underspin like that, like a belly weighted is usually what I'm throwing. We have a lot of grass. No lower than 15 pound, 17. Yep, right there. Hey, I'll trade you 2 BX brats for 17 pound is usually my go-to. 15 pound fluoro. And Jim and I have talked before, like 7 speed.
You got the Colorado ones?
I've got a couple of those. 7 speed's my favorite. I know Jim says like 6 speed's his favorite, but find what you like, man.
Just for all you guys that know that need to know, the reason why you can't get tackle right now is because Jim's got it all.
Yeah, there's not actually a tackle shortage or shortage in suppliers.
You wouldn't believe the orders that I have on hold. I'm still waiting on my order from Black Friday. There's so much crap on. I said, you know what? Just wait till it all gets in before you send it to
me. Jesus. Oh,
those garage. I got a lot of those on there.
For me, I've got 3 different setups for underspins. I'll fish a big underspin, a big ledge head, and I'll throw a 3/4 ounce. That I'm going to throw on anything from a medium heavy, fast to extra fast. I've got a fast action. I like it. That rod needs to be just a little bit stiffer because of the drag, because I'm going to throw a 6-inch swim bait on it. If you step down, still going to throw about a 1/2 ounce head, and that's probably going to be a medium heavy. It's going to be kind of my all around kind of go-to underspin rod, and that's going to be a medium heavy fast action 7.3. Every reel is going to be a lower 6. I don't like a 5, but I just think, I always say with a swim bait, and a lot of crankbait guys get into throwing swim baits, and I always tell them, don't fish it like a crankbait. If you're going slow, you're not going slow enough. And I feel this kind of the same way. There's times over grass and stuff like that that'll change. And then from there, I'll actually back down to a medium for like my real small, like 2.8 Kitech style baits, and where I'm throwing like a 1/8, 16th to a 3/16. And I want a medium with a moderate fast. And again, that's going to be a 7 to a 7'3". If there's one thing on God's green earth I love to throw, it's a swim bait and a stinking underspin. And I probably like an underspin even more than I like just a standard straight up swim bait. So what's something, and I know what Debo's going to say. Wait, I'm not even asking this question. It come up, and I didn't even realize I was about to ask the obvious dumbest question in the world from you two. Hey, Rod, man, thanks for the $10, brother. I appreciate you. You've been a supporter for a daggone long time, and I can't get your comment to come up or that, so I apologize to you. Sorry, guys. This is all new to me. I'm not as good as these two guys are at it.
Debo's the pro man.
My favorite tackle.
He told my wife just how easy this was and everything.
I knew.
Gave her all the tips.
Sure. Okay, so inside look at this. So Jim and I was going to have, if you all remember, I was going to have a live, I don't know, it's been like 3 or 4 weeks ago or whatever. And Jim and I hopped on early, me, him, and his wife, because they're like, what are you using your live? Can you show us? I was showing them. I'm like, yeah, I use Streamlabs. It's super easy. And literally, as soon as I went to go live with Jim, wouldn't work. And then I tried to go live with Randizzle twice after that, wouldn't work. So finally, after that, Ella Bass had been telling me, like, go to Streamlabs. Multiple people had told me, go to StreamYard. Finally, I did it. Dude, it's so much better. Just like Hank showing. You can put the comments at the bottom. Like, you just send people a link and they come in. Yeah, it's a lot less of a headache.
Listen, Bob, I'm going to promise you right now.
Sorry, Bob. I'm not going to even show you the backstock behind the wall.
That's why I
just
put
display
that comment up there. Oh my God! I hope you guys are having as much fun as we are. These two guys right here, I appreciate them so much. They both got great channels, both bigger channels than me. So they've never big timed me or been, too big to be some really good friends. And I appreciate the heck out of them, man. I can't tell you how much they've been. Jim's helped me out a ton with stuff. I've always had a ton of questions. Me and Debo are constantly, swapping ideas and coming up with some sort of scheme here and there. But, you guys, like I said, if you haven't subscribed to their channels, please go out. And I know I've done a horrible job of putting any links down there, but, make sure you go. I'll definitely put them in the description afterward. Make sure you subscribe to them. So go ahead, Jim.
There's a good question on here. Matthew says, you can crank with braid if the water is muddy. No, hold on. Where's that at? That ain't it. There's somebody on here that had something about if you should crank with braid. Where'd that go?
Hold on, I'm looking.
It's a good question. I've got one while you guys are looking for that. Hank and Jim, when you guys go to have a pop, I call them pop, I'm from Iowa, and it's an A&W. A&W's most favorite thing. Hank, what do you call that? It's an A&W.
Oh, I wasn't going to ask that, but I seen the guy ask that. I started to. I didn't know if that was like going to piss you off or not.
I'm an open book. It's
okay.
hard,
Okay.
Unless you're talking bad about my mom or my parents or my family.
Gotcha. I call it root beer.
Jim, what do you call the A&W?
Root beer.
Oh my God. I got lit up on a video doing jigs. To me, it's always been root beer.
Root beer.
I had like 90 comments. People are like, RUHT, root beer. I'm like, I don't know. I'm from Iowa.
Let me ask you, since we're on words here, my wife, I don't know why. Okay. Like what you color with, like a crayon.
Yeah.
How do you guys say that?
Well, now I'm a hillbilly, so I say crayon.
Okay.
I say
Debo.
crayon.
Okay. My wife calls them crowns. Like, crown. How do you get that out of crayon?
South.
No, yeah.
I was coloring with the crown.
Okay. I'm gonna ask you another word.
Oh
question.
no, we opened a
Yeah.
can
So
here now.
because I see certain YouTubers say this all the time. If you're not fishing with a bait, what is the other word it's called?
Lure.
Yeah.
I say lure, but I've heard it too. I laugh. Lure.
Yeah.
A lure.
Is that more of a South thing? I think that's more of a Southern thing.
I don't know. The only guys I've ever heard it has been kind of northeast.
Oh, really?
So,
okay. I thought it was more of a Southern thing. I didn't know.
A lure, yeah. I mean, I've never caught it. It's always been lures.
Yeah,
it's like I got a dude that just tore into me one day. He was like, what was it? It was something about. He was like, it's a lure. It's not a bait. It's not live. It's like that's just like a. Oh God, what was it? It was a. It's not a. That's like a guy calling a. I don't hunt, man. Deer, like a deer rack, something else. And I was just,
calling them horns.
Calling them horns. Yeah. And, it's an antler. And I was like, well, listen, you take your baits or you take your lures and I'll take my baits and we'll just see who catches more of them.
Right.
All right. Great. Was this the question you were talking about? Do y'all throw anything on straight braid besides frogging or flipping?
I thought somebody had asked if you should crank with braid. I don't see it anymore, though. I thought somebody said, should you crank with braid to get your bait deeper in muddier water? I thought it said. I don't see it.
And just to answer that question, I don't throw anything on straight braid unless I'm in grass. That's it.
Really, for me, even pitching and flipping, I do a lot of that around wood. I don't like braid around wood. So straight braid for me would be swim jigs around grass and frogs. That's pretty much it. Yeah. I don't use a ton of braid, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm the same. Every single finesse setup that I have, like all my spinning rods are always braid to a leader, but I'm still always using a leader. But otherwise, yeah, unless you're in thick grass or really muddy water. But I know, like, I think it might be Dave Fritz when you look up cranking braid, because I have people ask me about it. Dave Fritz, and there's a couple other guys. I want to say, what's the cat's name that does a lot of deep cranking? Timmy Horton. I think both of them were talking about using braid, because if historically, you fish crankbaits on mono, right? You heard that forever. And then you start to get crankbait rods that are real parabolic, soft, and you're throwing a crankbait on mono with a soft rod, especially on long casts. Yeah, there's a good chance you're going to miss it. So I've heard guys, especially in water like you, Jim, real muddy stuff, throwing crankbaits on like a crankbait rod with braid.
See, to me, it would defeat the purpose of it, right? Because you have a soft rod, but then you take the stretch. There's no stretch on the line. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. And as far as depth goes, I mean, fishing muddier water, I don't fish more than 3 feet deep. So, I mean, I wouldn't use braid to get me deeper, as far as the line diameter goes. I would still use, sometimes, hell, I use 20, 25 pound mono just to keep my bait up extra shallow. So, I wouldn't want a smaller diameter line. But, yeah, I wouldn't, at least for me, I wouldn't want to use braid with a cranking rod, just because I think it kind of defeats the purpose of it.
So that brings up a good question. What do you guys actually like? What do you guys prefer? Because see, I know a lot of guys are going to the graphite glass composites, or some guys like the glass rods completely. But see, I'm on the other end of that. Like I like to feel every bump and hit on the bottom. So I'm strictly a graphite guy.
I'm the same, and I just like fluorocarbon.
Yeah, me too.
Like I said, if I'm looking to adjust my depth from time to time, I might go to mono if I'm trying to keep something extra shallow. But for the most part, it's 15 pound fluorocarbon is what I'm using.
Yeah, I use both. I grew up on glass rods. My old man had a bunch of glass rods. That's a ton of the old stuff that they used to make for cranking was just 100% glass. Those bigger rods. So I use both. I just don't like a glass, like really super bendy rod, like if I'm throwing square bills, because I'm usually throwing them more shallow around cover. I like more of just like a regular glass, almost like a regular medium heavy, really, for like a 2.5.
A little more beefing around.
Yep. Yeah. Otherwise, fluorocarbon is what I throw mine on.
Now this is we're going to answer this question for all the wives. So, for me, it's all about being prepared for anything.
That's a safe bet. I'm going with that one too.
Yeah.
I always go back to being a content creator. You guys don't want to see me only throw a spinnerbait and a frog, right? I'd get really boring. So I like to try different baits, different lures, all kinds of different stuff. And it's true, as being a content creator, you can't just be on one thing all the time. That's going to get stale real quick. So like when we pack our boat or when we pack our backpack, I like to have more stuff that I don't normally use because I'll try those and really try to push the envelope and get something on different stuff every video, right? Instead of seeing me fish a spinnerbait 10 videos in a row. Sometimes it happens, but
that goes back to what we talked about before. I mean, I'm kind of the same way, but that footage never makes it on videos because I don't catch nothing on it. So
yeah.
I'm going back to the confidence stuff because I'm out of time. I need a video. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. Do
Real
you
fast,
guys? No, go ahead, brother.
There's been a guy that keeps asking about a bankroll jig. Is that considered a swim jig or a flipping jig? I haven't personally seen that jig. Do you guys know about that?
No, I don't know.
Is that the Booyah one?
I think it is Booyah.
Yeah, because he was saying that you were maybe you'd used it or showed it.
I don't believe it's a bankroll. Booyah has a finance jig. It's like a ball head jig. I've had bad luck with those, but it's like the owner, the War Eagle Heavy Finesse, just a round-headed ball jig. If that's the one he's talking about.
Yeah, I've not used that. So, where was that question?
It was conditioner for mono.
Conditioner. Yep. Yeah. You guys use conditioner for mono?
Always, yep. Mono and fluorocarbon.
Yep.
I'm horrible about it. I use it every time I spool up, and I never put it on ever again.
You don't really?
No, I'm horrible with it.
I use fluorocarbon on almost everything other than anything that is top water. So I'm and you put that on spinning reels, even with a leader, you better keep line conditioner with you because it will. It will end in that inevitable cast where everything just goes boof, and you just look at it and go, crap. Of course, I don't normally just say crap.
Yeah, that doesn't make it on YouTube either then.
No, unless I've got a goose honk on her. All right. What do you guys prefer for backing for your bait casters and why? Go ahead.
Used to be, I never knew who's going to go for. I don't want to cut somebody off.
What?
Years ago, used to be 20-pound mono. And to be honest, I switched from the bigger mono to 10-pound monos because that knot was so big and I felt it kind of unbalance the spool. And you would hear that when you make a cast, you would hear them bearing zing. And I believe it was from that bigger knot with that 20-pound. So I did step it down to 10-pound test for backer mono. But here the last few years, I switched to braid for backer. But I still put a small piece of mono on there and tie the braid to the mono and then my main line to the braid.
Why do you go to braid as a backer, Jim?
Well, I think it was Aaron Martins that made a video on that years ago saying that it was lighter and you would get further cast with it. And I made a video after I did it. And I mean, I believe it was true. I just felt like I was casting further with the braid. But that really wasn't the main reason I did it. I think it's just nice having the braid backer on there. So when you do pull off your main line, the mono's not coming off and it can stay on there pretty much forever. So, I mean, that's kind of why I went to the braid, just to keep it on there all the time, not have to re-spool the mono and worry about it looping up on me if I want to retie it or whatever the case may be. So that's why I go to braid backer. And I just use I think it's PC Fun. Got it on Amazon. It's a cheaper braid, but I think it's like 550 yards for $20 and you can back, I don't know how many reels, but maybe probably 20 reels. I usually put on about 50 yards of backer. So,
yeah, that's pretty much the same reason I do it too. And I even watched your video with that, and you said the reel just feels.
It did. I mean, it did.
But it does. It does. It just, I don't know. It just feels more. Now I've had guys, because I've got a video on that too, and I've had guys. One of the biggest reasons why I started going to braid was because it's a backing is because it's a money saver too. Just like Jim said, you can go out and buy, like I've got one that's like 3,400 yards worth of, I can't even tell you, I know it came straight from China, so it probably has lead in it, but, it's like a 65-pound test and I throw that on there, and then I'm not using near as much fluorocarbon, and that stuff is not cheap. So
yeah, 200-yard spool. I mean, if you don't use backer, depending on the reel, you're only going to spool up one reel, then you're left with 60 yards you can't use unless you're using it for leaders. Where I mean, 200-yard spool of fluorocarbon, if you back it with even mono or braid, you can get 3 or 4 reels out of that one 200-yard spool. Depending on what you're doing. If I'm strictly just going to pitch and flip with fluorocarbon, I may only put on there 20 yards. You know what I mean, of a heavier pound test.
Rod always gives me heck about that. Hank makes Hank makes a word like it's 2 syllables or more. All right, now do you guys throw an A-rig any?
Not enough. Now
me, I love an A-rig. I threw an A-rig a lot already this year. That same knot, I mean, just use it. And I've got a video on it. It's just a quick knot. It's the San Diego Jam knot. Like I said, I just call it the simple San Diego Jam. I don't go through the bottom. I just go through the top. I use that for everything. It's quick. It's fast. Once you can get it down, I mean, you sit there and just twirl it around and cinch it down. You just like the Palomar knot, though, you got to make sure wet the knot before you cinch it, and then wet the line that you're getting ready to slide it down to. What about the FG knot, since we're on being naughty right now?
I haven't tackled that one yet.
Well, like I said,
it's so much easier and just as strong.
I know. Like I'll tie it if I'm here at the house, but when I'm out on the water and I don't want to, I don't have 2 nuns and a midget. I'm just not doing it. I'm just not doing it. I mean, it takes so much to do, It's like 5 minutes long.
Oh, I got a good one. Rod Royale says frogs won't walk right if you cut the legs too short. I disagree 100%. I've got multiple frogs where I've cut the legs completely off.
Yep.
And that was to like an MLF probably 4 or 5 years ago. Maybe. Jacob Wheeler was throwing a white frog that he cut the legs completely off because he saw fish feeding on shad around bushes, and he couldn't throw a regular popper in there because he kept getting hung up. So he took a white frog, cut the legs off, and I've replicated that and caught fish on it. It's all about slack in the line. If you don't have enough slack in your line, you're not going to be able to walk it. But
I've got to get better at that. That's one thing, because I just don't throw a lot of frogs. That's a technique that really I need to get better at is being able to walk frogs. So, all right. Do you make your own spinnerbait blade combos or just buy them how you like them?
I buy them how I like them. I don't mess around with. I know you can get way into the weeds on that, but I don't do a ton of different blade modifications.
I get way into the weeds on them. I've got a box that literally has skirt material and blades, and I take that with me if I know it's going to be a spinnerbait bite so that I can make modifications to them. And that would be a whole video of and by itself that I can't actually believe I've never done.
Because, there you go. It's going on. Do it.
Yeah. That's actually a video that I actually need to make, because I get pretty picky about my blade combos. Oh, I seen something else on here and I missed it just now.
We were talking about braid earlier. Kenny says, how do you stop the braid from slipping on the spool when using braid backing? I personally just use a small piece of mono, but you can use electrical tape too and just tape it on there.
Just a small piece of tape. Yeah. Sorry, Debo, go ahead, bro.
No, I was just saying, I agree with Jim. I've only done the mono because if you put electrical tape on there and then the super hot weather, it'll get super sticky and disgusting gross, like when you go to take it all off, if you ever do. So
that's why I agree. I like the mono.
Yeah, the mono.
Yeah, here's a good question, especially while I'm tournament fishing. You guys take it first.
What kind of extra challenges do you guys face when fishing and recording videos?
I could have read it to you, couldn't I?
Audio. I think audio is the biggest thing.
Amen.
I don't know how many videos last year that I just had to trash, and they were good days, and I just, this heck with you get home and you pretty much got no footage because, the mic was unplugged or something happened, and that's a big one.
Or just bad. Like if you're using GoPros and you've got a mic, an external mic plugged into them, sometimes it's just bad. Like you'll get it and it just sounds like, aliens are trying to contact your planet. And it's like, what in God's name is this 10 sound I'm hearing?
Gotcha. Dude, have you tried the 9 jet, man?
No, but
Dude.
I've heard you talk about them, and I've seen several reviews and say that basically the mic problems are
exactly
gone.
it's fixed, dude. Yeah, I mean, I sold all my 5s and I all got 9s now. They're that awesome, dude.
I'm getting ready to do it too.
Yep.
So, see, I'm still on the old 5s. So.
That's what I had before these. It's such a huge upgrade, though, man. And having the screen in front, I mean, that's what I'm streaming on right now. My my GoPro.
Wow. I didn't even realize they had the screen in front.
Yeah, being able to see what you're doing it's a game changer, dude.
Wow.
I've still got all 4s. Mine have been good as long as I just remember to plug the mic in. I think that was a deal with the GoPro Hero 4s is like I use the dead chinchilla muff thing, and even if it's super windy, like you can still hear. So as long as I plug it in, my biggest thing is like just time. Like time is my biggest constraint.
Yeah.
I wish I had more time. Because it might be a slow day and you might start getting on them the last half hour and it's like, well, I got to go pick up the kids or I got to go do something else or,
You know what happens to me? Like I'll film for, 5, 6, 7 hours, not biting. I'm sick of wearing the camera or whatever the case may be. I put everything away and that's when I start catching them,
Always record. Yeah. Always have that baby on.
All right. I know Jim's answer to this.
Favorite snack out on the water when you're out fishing all day? What is it? What is it? Don't even say it. Lunchables?
Yeah. Lunchables.
Yes, Lunchables.
Debo,
that was a funny video.
That was.
Probably trail mix or just like some sort of granola bar, something in a package you can just open up and eat. I like trail mix a lot.
I'm old school. It's I'm going to have some sort of beef stick and generally a honey bun.
I love those little teriyaki bites, dude. Those things are awesome.
Oh yes, the tender bites.
Oh yeah, dude.
Oh
God, I always have those with me.
Yeah. And like I've said many times, me and little Debbie, we've been dating for years. So
What's your favorite? Okay, old school. What's your favorite little Debbie ever made?
Oh, dude, you're asking me like old school little Debbie favorite.
Anything. I'm just saying. Like I used to eat. I don't really eat them now. Ever.
Can I have a top 10? I mean, have you seen my body shape?
You can go 2. That's all I'll allow you. Top 2 maybe.
They're hard to find, and I never can remember the name of them. They're not the nutty bars, which by the way are great if you take them and stick them in a freezer. By the way, and let them get real good and cold. Great fat man tip right there. But they are, and what I hate about them is that A, you can never find them, and B, when you get them, they're always crumbly. But they're like the peanut butter sticks. They've got like the cookie on the outside and the peanut butter inside. Peanut butter and chocolate. I mean, whoever came up with that,
dude,
it was like
100% with you there.
It's like that was one of the most genius moments in mankind that never gets enough recognition. So, yeah.
How about you, Jim? Favorite little?
I don't even know. I'm pretty simple. Probably just a cupcake, man.
Like are you talking like the Hostess? The one with the little twirly things on it?
Yeah, I like those. Yeah,
I forget what those are even called. Are those ding dongs?
No, ding dong doesn't have an icing on top of it.
Come on, man.
It's just like a hard ho-hos. Those are more cake-like, aren't they? Ho-hos.
I don't know.
Yeah. There's ho-ho is more like a Swiss cake roll.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Anyway, I agree with that. Oh my God. Hold my things out. I agree with BassGeek. Either a Nutter Butter or a Cosmic Brownie. The old brownie things. They used to have like walnuts on top, I want to say, instead of being like Cosmic. Didn't they like brownie with walnut things on them?
I remember the brownies.
I think they did. Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, they did.
Yep.
I think because sometimes my girls will get little Debbie stuff, and I think now they're called Cosmic Brownies or something. I want to say.
Peanut butter crunch. That's what they're called. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate that one. Oh, yeah. Now everybody in the comments is talking about little Debbie's. Everybody's going to have a midnight snack after they get
hungry, man.
I got a fun one. Chris Russ says, best lure retrieval story. So I'm assuming he's saying like what type of depth did you go to get a lure back? I've got a couple. I'll lead off because I already know. Last year there was one where me and my buddy Matt were out in a boat, and I was frogging all day. Reaction Innovation, Swamp Donkey. I'd caught like 30 some, probably 40 fish. Amazing day, and we're both like in this back little pocket, and he's like, "Are you ready to leave? Like, we've been out all day." My legs were completely roasted. I actually had blisters on my legs. They got so sunburnt after that day, but I'm like, "Yeah, man, of course, that last freaking cast." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm ready to go." And that last cast goes over the back of this log, and the hooks get stuck in it. I'm like, how in a million years does this ever happen? So we spend like 30 minutes with a lure retriever. I'm like holding the rod up, and he's bigger than I am. So he's probably like 6'6". I don't know. He's a big cat. And he's like holding it up, trying to swing it behind this log for like 30 minutes. I end up just like walking the plank on this log. I don't know how far away it was, and then just like waiting probably waist deep to go get it. But that was pretty memorable because I'm like, I can't leave this frog behind. It's no man left behind. This frog did work today. I have to, dance with who brung me here. I got to get it.
I don't really have one about the funniest story.
I know Jim does it. Jim's like, my favorite lure retrieval is I walked behind me and got a new one off the shelf.
Yeah. That's why I have so many of certain baits.
Yeah.
I break it off, give me another one. I got time for that.
My favorite was I took the last one off the hook, and then I remembered I had a whole box of 100 in
That's why I carry 2 dozen K1.5 with me.
Yeah.
Good Lord. With me, it's less of a bait, more of a phone retrieval story. I had just got, it was February, and I just got a new Galaxy 5 back then. And I was on a little lake up just up the road, Top Secret Lake P, if anybody knows. And so what ended up happening was they put a new motor. I forget the gasket, but it's a gasket that the head actually sets down on the foot. And so the water gets pulled up, and they folded one corner over, and it was leaking. So I was ticked off about that. I was trying to adjust. I was moving my transducer, so I was ticked off that wasn't working. And I'd had this crappy jacket on that one of my ex-employers gave me, and it had a little cell phone pocket in it. And I leaned over. I pulled up to the dock, and I was beached, and I leaned over, and my stinking phone goes bloop into the water. And I was like, what the hell was that? And I look over, and I see the phone looking like a spoon going down. And I'm like, no, I'm throwing that jacket and kicking it and, saying a lot of ugly words. So I'm sitting here, and I'm like, okay, I got to get this. So I strip down, walk out in 46-degree water. I'm holding on to the edge of my boat because the lake is drawn down about 15 feet. So I don't know where this boat ramp drops off at back here. And I know for a fact it drops off to about 35, 40 foot at that point. So anyway, moral of the story, I get out, and, dumb me, I don't even take my jeans or my shirt off, for whatever reason. I'm thinking that's going to help keep me warm, right? So luckily I've got a pair of overalls up in the truck, and I go up there to get them, but there's nowhere. Like the bathrooms at the ramp is closed down. And so the way the parking lot is, the road that comes to it actually wraps around and comes down. So if you're down there and you just strip down nude beside your truck, people's going to get like a literal, 180 of your nude rear end. So I'm like, okay, nobody. Yeah. So I'm like, nobody's on the lake. So I go down, jump in my boat, and set it up. You know how you see firefighters, they've got their boots and everything. And so I get it all set up, and I've got a towel, and I've dried off. And, I take my shirt off, and I'm sitting here, and I'm thinking, okay, all right, I'm going to just hop over there real quick and pull those up. About the time I go ahead and take my pants off and kick them over, a county sheriff's officer pulls up. And I'm sitting here, and I'm thinking, oh, my God. I'm like, how am I going to explain to my wife that I just got arrested for public indecency and went to jail? I'm fishing by myself. She's going to think I'm cheating on her for sure.
Right.
Like I've got a chance of cheating on her with anybody anyway, right? But, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm going to jail. I'm going to jail. I'm standing here naked in front of this cop. And so he comes down the ramp and he's like, sir, I kind of got my shirt. I reach over and grab my shirt and I'm holding it in front of me and I'm kind of sitting down in my passenger seat. And he's like, sir, are you all right? And I'm like, well, yeah, luckily I did find my phone and it was laying out there in pieces and I had the cowling off my motor. And I said, yeah, my phone. And I just, went in after it. And he's like, all right. He's like, go ahead and get your clothes on. And I went ahead and scooted over and pulled the things up and zipped them. He said, he kind of talked to me for a minute. He said, I got to ask you. He said, A, you're not trying to hurt yourself, are you? I said, no, sir, I'm not. And he said, B, he said, you haven't been drinking today, have you? I said, no, sir, I've not been drinking. He said, you going home? I said, I'm going home and drinking right now. So luckily, I did not end up in jail and divorced for indecent exposure on a boat ramp.
Lord.
But yeah, that was a retrieval story, not necessarily a lure retrieval story. So,
we can't hang with that one, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what to say.
Next question.
I went after a musky lure, like a $35 musky lure. It was like, I don't know, 40 degrees, 45 degrees, air temps. But I kept my clothes on. I didn't want to mess with that.
Oh, Michael, I remember that one. We were just fishing, I got all this on video. We were just fishing a pond. And maybe, I don't know, 15, 20 foot out there was a stump and he hung his swim bait on there. I mean, he could have just walked out there and got it. But he's trying all these different techniques, takes his reel off his rod, and he's tossing his rod down there trying to bump it off. And long story short, like I said, it was cold. Water temps were probably in the 40s. And he's fully dressed and he's got tall boots and all that on. And instead of taking his boots off, he didn't take his boots off, so he gets in the water. Of course, his boots fill up with water. And he's got these heavy, like, Carhartt pants on. I mean, of course, you don't want to get out there and be naked and all that, but I mean, just this real heavy type gear and his boots, goes out there and gets his lure. But, I mean, I'm sure the video is much better than my story here. But, yeah, you thought he would at least have took his boots off going in there and getting the lure, He just kept edging out. He's like, oh, wait, I feel the water. It's rushing in his boots,
It's a miracle. Did he make it out with his boots?
Yeah, I think he did, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Not, yeah.
It's a miracle that he got out of there with them. Oh, hey, big shout out to my buddy Joey, TR21X. That's my buddy down in South Kakalaki down there. Oh, yeah, that's like I said, there's a bunch of people laughing at me now in the story, but yeah, that's one of the best stories I ever had. Now there is another funny story about me sitting on a jerkbait, and I'll tell that story at another time. But yeah, that's a pretty good one too. Some campers out there. Yeah, that was they seen a little more than they needed.
I guess I do have a boat retrieval story.
Oh, good, get it, yeah.
And I'll make it short. But on those ponds that I go to, on the bigger pond, I did put my tracker last year when I had I guess this was a few years ago, but when I had my red tracker, I did put that boat in there. Put it in just fine. Like I said, we fished as long as we could. And coming in, of course, we got out, got the trailer, put it in and all that. And I guess with the way the bank is and the weight of the boat getting on the trailer, I couldn't get it out of the water. So long story short, and it's funny because the camera's rolling through all this. I don't know why I didn't make a video out this, but the boat's just out there floating. I got it on like a 50-foot rope. And we had to get a bobcat in there to dig it out so I could actually get the boat out. But I mean, it was a huge ordeal. But yeah, the funniest thing was it was all on video, and I didn't make a video with it.
Oh my God! Yeah. All right, guys. Listen, I've kept these two guys for quite a while. We're going to wrap up, so we'll say how much longer y'all want to go. I'll let y'all decide. I don't want to keep you on all night. We've been on here an hour. We've been on here an hour and a half at this point.
Hour and a half. That's crazy. I looked up a little bit ago, and I guess maybe 45 minutes.
Yeah,
it was like an hour.
It's man, it's been awesome with you guys. It's flew by.
We need to do this more often.
Yeah, we need to do the three amigos, as Mr. Hank Snow said on there. You know, we're up to our eyeballs in BS. I don't know how many of y'all got brown eyes. I'm blue, so I'm not there yet. Well, Debo, you know.
Mom's always told me that, full of crap up to my eyebrows. We end on one question. Should we do one more question and then close it?
Yeah, let's do that. One more question, guys. Come on, send us your best. Send us your best question.
The best question you got for a closer.
That's right. Oh, so when are you two guys gonna hit the lakes or ponds next?
I'm hoping tomorrow. I still need to log on. I still need to log on and do work stuff tonight, but hoping tomorrow if I can take it off. You guys?
I'm thinking probably Friday for me hitting ponds, and the week after I think I'll start taking the boat out. I just got the keel shield all done last night, so now the boat's ready to roll. So I'll get that in the water here next week probably.
I will. I've got to work the next 2 days. I will be on Norris Lake for 3 days, and. Nice. Then after that, I'll probably take 2 days, Sunday and Monday, to recover, and I will start pre-fishing for probably 2 to 3 days for whatever lake is after that. I can't remember if it's Douglas or Cherokee. So
these lakes pretty good distance from you. Are they local or?
Norris, it just depends on where I put in. It can be anywhere from 2 hours to, an hour. Most every lake, big lake, Tennessee Lake, from me is 45 minutes to an hour to 2 hours. So, I don't mind the drive, Luckily, I've got buddies that I work with, and they're there all night. So if I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and head to the lake, I normally call them up, wake them from sleeping, and just start shooting a bull.
That's cool.
All right. You guys seeing any questions coming in? By the way, thank you guys for watching the comments and the questions too. You guys are better guests than I am. Debo always gives me heck when I'm on because I'm never looking. It's like he has to do it all when I'm on.
Well, you might not have been able to see, so I'll let it slide. And you like Nutter Butters, so.
I do like Nutter Butters. Let's see.
Yeah, I've seen a few fun questions. How would you fish?
Well, let's do two. You two pick a question apiece and see what you think.
This one's come up here a few times from Joseph Keller. Where's that one at? I just moved. It seems to me, after watching all your channels, that you are mostly hard body lure fishermen. Have you ever considered fishing soft plastics throughout the year instead of the hard bodies?
For me, right now, this time of year is one of the best times to throw hard body baits. So crankbaits, jerkbaits, that sort of stuff. But 90% of the time, when I'm talking about swim baits, I'm talking about soft plastic swim baits. I'm a soft plastics guy. 90% of the time, that's what I'm throwing. What about you, Debo?
Yeah, I'm not. It's funny that you would say that about my channel. I don't fish hard baits. I feel like I don't fish them nearly enough. I don't get to, just because a lot of the places I fish have a bunch of crap from the bank, wood and stuff, or grass. I fish a lot of grassy places, so like early spring and real late fall, I get to fish them quite a bit. But once stuff starts coming up, for me, it's kind of gone. And then
but you always have a pretty good variety. Fishing different lures and all that.
Yeah, that's the thing is I didn't realize how lucky I was, but around me, we've got a whole bunch of different stuff from clear water reservoirs, that are 50 feet deep, to grassy lakes and ponds, to dirty, muddy stuff, So it's kind of fun. It's not great fishing. Obviously you don't see Iowa on the BASS trail, but a good variety.
Yeah. See, I don't have that kind of variety. It's all rock, a lay down, more rock, deep water, Oh, there's a shallow flat, and then there's some more rock.
For me, years ago, before I started recording, man, it was all soft plastics. Like I said, I never even touched a hard bait. And it's just like, as as the lakes got more rock into them, as they started adding more and more to it, that bite just got so good. I mean, to be honest, it's not nearly as good now as it used to be. But I just love fishing that way. So if there's rock, to me, it's confidence. I got to pick up a square bill. It's just how I like to fish. I mean, would I catch the same fish with a soft plastic? I mean, I honestly don't know. I just feel the way they react to the crankbaits, I just feel I do better on them versus a soft plastic. And even in muddier water where they can't see well, I just feel you're still giving them less time to think whether they can see it or not. So when it comes by them, I just feel they hit it out of just reacting to it versus if they're hungry or not. You know what I mean?
Okay. Mine is, I'm going to go with Mike Imbriani. Says, what is one native to the U.S., in quotes, native to the U.S., species that you would like to fish for but aren't in your area? So there's two for me. One for sure would be snakeheads on frogs. Like, I've seen them tear up frogs viciously, and I think that would be fun because, like, up here, and I'm ashamed to say it sometimes because, like, pike are kind of that, like, kind of trash fish, and tournament guys hate them. But, dude, when there's a hot pike bite on frogs, I would rather fish topwater pike all day than frogs. Like, just because it's that frog. I mean, it's in the muck. It's like throwing a bowling ball in. So that would be one. Two would be, like I said earlier, whatever those fish are where you take the whopper plopper and go and the fish blow up on it. 800-pound catfish takes it. That would be number two. I don't think those are native to the U.S. But
yeah, snakeheads kind of frighten me, so I don't know.
I'd agree with you on the snakehead.
Yeah. I don't know. Did it say freshwater?
Just said native to U.S.
The one fish that I really, and it's more of a saltwater, and I need to go down to one of my buddies down in Florida and go catch this, but it's a tarpon, the big tarpon. I mean, they got the mouth just like a bass, and they jump like crazy. I mean, I'm going to have to like do a lot of sit-ups and push-ups and get back in shape and do some cardio from watching some guys catch those things. But yeah, that would definitely be mine. It's more of a saltwater. If I had to pick a freshwater, I've caught two muskie. One was probably 48, 49. One was probably 30-ish. But I'd really like to target those more. That's fun.
Watching river monsters a lot. I always wanted to catch arapaima, I think is what they're called.
Jeremy. Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That's the one that almost killed him. Did you see that episode where it jumped and like hit him in the chest? And he's like, dude, that thing could have killed me. Like, it knocked the air out of him. He couldn't breathe. And
cow.
That'd be fun.
For me, the question, I seen it a little while back, and it was what rig or tactic or lure do you know that catches fish that you hate to use? For me, I can say it's two of them. I know it used to be one of Debo's, but I hate to use the Carolina rig, the old ball and chain. I can't stand to throw it. And in likewise is the drop shot. I'm just I can't stand it.
I don't. Yeah, I'll tack onto that. Drop shot used to be mine. Like, I know it catches fish, and I don't necessarily hate fishing it. It's not too different from fishing a lot of other finesse stuff, but it's once you break off, then I've got to get a hook, and I've got to tie the the Palomar hook, and make sure my hook's right, and then I've got to tie it on the bottom, make sure my leader come out right, and actually, like, it takes 37 minutes to tie a new drop shot rig, so it's like that's why I hate it. Yeah,
same reason I hate that FG knot.
Alberto's a game changer.
What about you, Jim? What's the one technique that catches them, but
really anything finesse, just because it's not how I like to fish.
I can see that. I'm not a big finesse guy. If I'm throwing finesse, it's a bad day. I'm not happy.
Right. It's slow. It's a slow day, right?
Yeah.
Not saying they don't load the boat. I was just fishing. The other day with a buddy of mine, and he was throwing the Ned rig. I was throwing the underspin, and he was whipping my tail. You know what I mean? But that's not how I wanted to catch him. You know what I mean? So I didn't throw it.
You have to get out of that if you're going to fish some tournaments, though.
That's why I told him too. He's always going to outfish me because he's a tournament fisherman, and he'll adapt to catch him. Where I'm doing what I want to do. You know what I mean?
Was that venom?
Yeah.
Yep. That's a whole nother episode of like lures that you like to fish and want to fish versus lures you think you should be fishing and lures that will catch fish.
Right.
That's a whole different. You nailed it, man.
The old force feed. Travis Moran, what is going on, Travis? Sea rig is your grandpa's set up. But don't you guys talk down drop shot. Yeah, drop shot. Whew, I just can't do it. But
you should all that deep clear water, man.
Well, but in the deep clear water here, we Demiki rig.
Yeah, so you like Demiki rig,
yeah. So it's kind of like a drop shot, but it's just got the bait built in. And I'll be honest with you, I never had neck problems until I started doing that. Just looking down the whole time at the graph. That's how you know you're getting old, kids. All right, guys, let's wrap it up. Hey, we appreciate everybody being here, everybody that donated tonight. Sorry I didn't have a giveaway. I've just been so busy. Because like I said, I took a arse whooping and it didn't taste very well. So I'm trying to focus and at least catch a fish. We're looking to go up in the next tournament. One keeper. I'm not going to set the bar too high for myself. One keeper. That's all I'm looking for. I don't even care if I catch it or if my partner AJ catches it. I'll take it either way. I will put it in the live well and carry that bag up there like he's the champion of the world. But as always, guys, man, thank you for being here. Thanks, guys. Go make sure you subscribe if you have not, which I know all of you probably have and probably, have done it like 3 or 4 times by now. But go subscribe to Debo's Fishing. Go subscribe to Tackle Junkie 81. And I'm going to let those guys kind of say goodbye, and that's how we'll sign off. Go ahead, Mr. Debo.
Until next time.
Appreciate you guys tuning in.
You guys rock.